Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Then Everything After podcast with your boy Amax, Simon McKenzie, and I'm going to throw the mic over to the fantastic Sasha.
Hey guys, Sasha Chantel here. I am a life coach, career coach, and I am an occasional blogger on sashachantel.com.
Cool. Nice one.
And over to my lovely Fabs.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Franklin Watson, aka Mr. Fabs Network, aka the King of Trainers.
Woohoo!
And yeah, I do a few things.
A few.
That's what I'm saying, man. This guy being so humble, you don't even know. You don't even know. But yeah, we're going to jump straight into this because there's so many things to kind of digest. Obviously, not even as the weeks go by, but as the days go by.
Oh, it's
there's
crazy.
a million and one things popping up. It's the reason why I was like thinking, okay, what things do we look at? What things we talk about? Because there's so many things to talk about and there's so many angles to kind of approach them.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the most blatant thing, which is crazy that's happening right now, is the whole thing with China.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about that.
100%.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like when I first heard it, I thought, nah, it's probably just propaganda. Yeah, propaganda posts, just stuff to kind of sell a narrative, political warfare, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
Give some background. What are we talking about?
So basically, people are posting their videos of their experience being in China and being told, for example, they can't go into McDonald's because they're black.
Wow.
Essentially. Yeah,
Wow.
because the Chinese think if they are black, then they are more likely to be sick and they're trying to stay away from them due to this whole coronavirus situation. So they are specifically targeting black people getting thrown out of their hotels that they've paid for.
Mm-hmm.
People are getting evicted from their properties. People are getting fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
That's the situation.
No, that's crazy. That's so crazy. Whoa, I don't know. There's a lot to say there, but you guys go first.
Well, my thoughts on this, I've always had the same thoughts. I knew it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it would happen. Not because I'm putting a whole race together and saying, right, every Chinese person's racist. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying every white person's racist, every black person's racist. But what I'm saying is there is a past history of events with other things that have happened, not only from COVID, but it's been other things that have happened where it's always somehow becomes a black problem. And we are in the middle of it and we cause it somehow. And in the beginning, it has nothing to do with us, but somehow by the end of it, it's our fault. So I think all they're doing is trying to deflect, take attention from themselves and not own up to their own mistakes, because deep down, we know how this was caused. And it's not about pointing fingers, but when you take responsibility for your actions, you can make change. When you don't take responsibility, it threatens us in the sense that it will happen again.
In fact.
Because you don't take ownership of what you do. Like, ownership is important. You have to own what you do to do better. And if you're going to digress and push it aside and deflect and blame somebody else, you won't take stock of it. And you've been doing it again. So in the next few years, we'll have another pandemic and they may cause it again, but it become our fault because they won't take responsibility for their actions. It's silly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. It's mad because there's like a rabbit hole. Right? So it's like, you look at that, but that's not even scratching the surface.
No.
It's like I've seen articles where they're saying within the black community, it's more like we're catching it more.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying.
I do believe that though.
And
I do. I believe it.
You believe it?
Because of the reasons. They're not saying because we're black we're getting it. They're saying because of the money that we actually earn in terms of our jobs, the kind of jobs that we do, the fact they're low paid, they haven't got healthcare. And that's kind of, not saying that that's true for all black people, but loads of people that do them kind of jobs in America are black. So it's no shock that, they're catching it more than anybody else. But it ain't down to the colour of their skin. Of course it's not.
I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's not that.
Definitely.
I definitely think with this whole situation, I think it really it reveals the truth about people. I think sometimes we look at certain situations and we're kind of blinded by how people really feel. And these situations, I know it sounds really tragic, but they have to happen for us to know how people really feel about us.
Yes.
It has to happen. Yeah, it has to happen. You know, when people said, "Oh, the election, why did the election go this way?" That had to happen for us to be. You get what I mean?
Right.
So I don't see, like what Sasha said. It's not surprising. It's shocking as the treatment.
Yes,
it's not surprising. It's shocking because you would think they would have more decorum. But these people, like, you know, and when I say these people, I'm talking about these racist people, not these type of people. They, when stuff is really serious, is when we see their true colors. You know,
very true.
Elections and stuff like that. So I think sometimes it should remind us who we are as people.
Yes.
And where we are in terms of where we are in the world.
Yeah.
And understand that we need to really, you know, if we're going to kind of address these things, when it's time for this COVID to be lifted, we need to know who we're doing business with, where we're putting our money, how we're investing in people. And that's what we need to really look at, because this is not the first and last time it's going to happen.
No.
You know, so we need to really start to be like, okay, we're their biggest consumers when it comes to certain products or certain lifestyles. So we now need to be like, okay, how are we going to show them that we're standing up for ourselves?
Right. And it is hitting their pockets. And that's the way that people learn. You hit them where it hurts, in their pocket. Because, you know, it's not one of those things where we're pointing fingers and saying, you know, Chinese people shouldn't be doing that and whatnot, because loads of people would do that in their position. They're at a point where the whole world is affected by something that they did.
Yeah.
And after we get out of this, whenever that will be, people will be asking for compensation. Countries will be asking for money. I think Greece is already asking for money back from China to cover their issues. So can you imagine, after it's all cleared and we're all getting our debts and we're seeing how much we actually have in terms of owing money and whatever, it'd be like, who to blame? China. Let's go to them. Let's attack them. Let's threaten to sue them. So it's going to be horrible for them. So it's easier to just say, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, and push it away and blame somebody else. That's how I see it.
But do you reckon that, because there's two things that I've kind of honed in on within this, which is obviously the fact that it's been deflected to who it's been deflected to based on kind of watered down statistics. And when I say watered down statistics, it's like, well, you're only looking at it from a particular perspective so you can give a very controlled answer. But you're not telling the whole story in that data.
That's right.
So like, for example, it's the fact that, like you mentioned before, it's the type of jobs that many of us have, you know, frontline jobs, working in hospitals, people working in cleaning jobs, people working in retail, et cetera, where your jobs are people facing and there's lots of interaction with people. So at a time like this, the battle is, do you not get paid and struggle, because of your economic position, or do you try and slog it out and work, but put yourself at risk? It's like a battle. So there will be a lot of people who they're in a situation, it's a catch-22 situation for them. But it's not looked at from that perspective. It's who can we point the finger at?
Exactly.
And people have to remember this. Okay, when this was going on, who was it being deflected at? Why was it being deflected at those people? Are those people perceived to be the easiest targets?
Perhaps.
Because if we weren't perceived as an easy target, we wouldn't be getting thrown into this conversation right about now.
No.
So
we're always the easy target, though.
Do you see what I mean?
I do have to commend the Nigerian council guy. I saw a clip of him because I think some of I didn't really get the full context, but from what I saw, some of his people had their passports taken away. He went back and he just snatched his passports and went crazy on them. Like, so, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, we need to, rather than us dwelling on the fact as to why us, we need to really hit this with how we're going to retaliate. You know, how are we going to start to be like, okay, this is how they treated us. This is how we're going to treat them. Do you get what I mean? And when I say them again, I say the racist people.
But don't you feel like, as a race, and not even to do it as a black and white thing, but for me as a black woman watching things as I've grown up and watched it, I always find that we get outspoken about things. We start to we'll stop buying something for like a week and say, don't buy it, don't buy those stuff, don't buy Dove, don't buy this, don't buy that. And 3 weeks later, everyone forgets about it. We're back buying it again. Nothing happened. On to the next injustice. Like, we need to do better. If you're going to say you're going to do something, commit to doing it for life. Like, I will never do certain things again. Once I say I'm done with you, I'm done. But we go back and we forget, and it happens again. And we're like, oh God, they're attacking us again. We boycott them for a week. Something else happens. We forget it. We move on. We got to do better. We can't expect better if we don't do better.
You know what I'll say to that? A lot of it is to do with the fact of, for you to say I'm not going there, you have to have it in mind where you're going. Yeah?
That's true.
And for a lot of people, when they say they're not going there, they're like, ooh, but that was where I got all my deals. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And they pause on that.
You're right, 100%.
And they're like, and they're walking past and they're like, I know I shouldn't go in there. I know I shouldn't go in there.
But where else?
The next minute, they're seen in there and they're like, hey, you didn't see me here.
For example, I'll give you an example. Like, since H&M did the was it the monkey thing?
Yeah.
Fake. With the little boy.
The monkey, yeah. I used to buy my son a lot of things from there. I haven't been there since,
But yeah, do you know what that is? That is, Fab, that is being true to your convictions and being true to your values.
Yeah.
People don't have values. They lack value, and they don't literally have values and stay strong on those values. Like, I had a problem when that whole thing with Dove happened. I weren't one of them people like, I'm not using Dove again, because actually Dove was the only thing that kept me dry in terms of my arms. So I would never go out there and say, no, I'm never using Dove again, because actually I'd be lying to myself. I'd be pretending for everybody else. I'd be secretly using Dove. I'm not that person. So you got to be true to yourself.
Correct.
If you're going to boycott something, you better have a backup.
Yeah,
exactly.
Otherwise, shut up. Shut up.
I think in this instance, it's hard for anyone to say, I'm never eating Chinese food again. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's, I think sometimes we need to really put things into context. And the reason why we can't say we don't have Chinese food in it anymore is because we don't have our black counterparts that actually have Chinese restaurants.
That's right.
So, for example, a Chinese person will have an African restaurant, they'll have a Chinese restaurant, they'll have an Indian takeaway, they'll have a chicken and chip shop.
Yeah.
But we need to start to say, okay, for me to combat this problem, how am I going to open a Chinese restaurant? How am I going to be the person that's at the forefront of different pots, so that when someone says, I don't have Chinese, okay, that's fine. Maybe you don't have Chinese made by a Chinese person because of the way you saw some of their people treat us, but you can come and say, look, here's what we've got. So it's about thinking about the infrastructure, rather than being like, I can't eat Chinese again. How do we think of the infrastructure? How do we say, okay, how do we own this?
We've got to put ourselves in the position of, if it was us and something happened in the black race, for example, and then my white friends started not shopping from me anymore because of what someone else did and they're black, how would that affect me? Like, we have people that we shop at. I go to Chinese, Indian, whatever, and the people that work there are respectful to me.
Correct.
I've been with them for years. So for me to then say, right, that's it.
Thank you.
Never. Yeah. Even though they've always been respectful to me and provided a good service, that then goes against me and my values as a person. Then I'm literally judging people as a whole, when actually it shouldn't be that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fully agree.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly.
So
it doesn't.
We need to look at the info. We just need to just kind of know what we want to do individually and be like, okay, this is the best way forward. I mean, I think it's more about even what we're doing now. It's about educating people. I think that's a good way to combat. Sometimes people say you have to fight. No, not necessarily. I don't mind fighting, but sometimes you can fight people with education.
Definitely.
This is what we're doing. This is who we are. This didn't come from us. This the key facts.
Yeah.
The problem sometimes is we tend to jump into rage.
Blinded.
Even the post that's getting shared is rage.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one person say, okay, here's the analyzation and here's the information, here's the facts. But we just need to get there, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? Because at first I kind of told myself I didn't want to see that, because I didn't want to be put in that frame of mind. As mad as that sounds, I didn't want to be in that kind of zone of,
Yeah, true.
you know, you guys doing this stuff makes me feel some type of way about this, etc. So I didn't want to have that energy.
Mm-hmm.
But then I decided, you know what, let me look at it and see if I can spot anything in it. And the thing that I noticed was there were some videos where it's kind of like this. It's like I saw another video, which was, I think, it may have been Ghana, and the woman was in the shop. She wasn't respecting their rules on the whole Corona thing.
Yeah. And
so they forcefully ejected her.
Yeah, they kicked her out. Yeah.
I watched that.
So if she's planning to go back there again, she'll probably never go back there again.
No.
And she may have an angle.
We don't need her to.
You see what I mean? That's the thing. She don't follow rules.
Yeah, we don't need
it. It's facts.
I did replay it a few times, though.
I guess the thing that I was looking at from all the different videos where I've seen things like that happen within different communities and different races told me something, and that is, okay, so in China do as they're told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? The people on at ground level just do as they're told. They're arguing nothing. They're not debating nothing. No. They were told you can't have Facebook. They ain't got Facebook. That's it.
Basically.
Yeah? So when that's the case, you've got to look at it maybe a little bit more critically. And this is where I go, well, the law's telling me that I have to apply this rule. So is my loyalty to my job and securing myself and doing as I've been told based on this law that's been, or whatever it is that's been put in place, or do I bypass that and on the slide try and do human decency? Like, how does that play out in China?
Yeah,
because they're harsh to their own people. Because of the type of state that they are.
That's right.
They're not like us or America or other Western countries.
They live in a different way.
Yeah, it's completely different mindset, way of thinking, leadership structure. Everything's just completely different.
Yeah,
you know, and they didn't get to where they got to being nice.
No. But maybe that's where we fail as a people in terms of like the wider like the community and so forth, where we don't look at things and break it down and look at the reasons behind something. We just start to get angry and start sharing the videos and going all crazy, and then we forget about it next week.
Exactly.
We don't actually put any depth behind it. It's just like, it's momentum. It's like we just get up that pace, everyone jumps on it. And as soon as everyone jumps on it, we all jump off it to the next thing.
Yeah.
Things can't change if we're going to work in that way.
I think it's more like it's the whole cruel to be kind thing. And sometimes it's taking something as taking the cold hard fact from something and going, this is the fact of this situation. I'm taking this, I am remembering this, and I'm applying myself based on this fact, as opposed to, this made me feel this way, so therefore I'm going to do this.
No, I agree. I think, I definitely agree. I don't think you can blame the people on the front line in these situations, because there's always a higher level in it. And I think it goes down to the superiority of who put these things in play. For example, the McDonald's one, the McDonald's head office didn't know about it. It was an individual case, you know. So the McDonald's head office, to my understanding of what's been out there, shut down the store straight away. But so now they need to have a full investigation as to what manager, what supervisor put this sign in the window to say that black people are not allowed in this store. It's a universal thing. However, it damages McDonald's.
Of course it does.
Because that's definitely one of the key things that McDonald's hate. McDonald's sell love. That's what we love about McDonald's. They sell love. They don't even sell food no more. It's about happiness. It's about togetherness. It's about love.
That's it.
That is, them not letting black people into one of their stores is probably the most detrimental thing that can ever happen. That's definitely not what they are.
100%.
So we need to look at things individually, and and then getting back to that case in Ghana, the lady, to my understanding by watching the video time and time again, everyone who walks in the store has to have sanitizer.
That's right.
She refused. This is the law of the store. Like, I've got to the stage in life where, if, like, sometimes you go to a store and they say, take off your hoodie, or they take off your, I don't argue. I'm not in no problem.
Just do it, truly.
I just do it. Because
take it off.
Once you're in their premises, it's their rules, so to speak. You get what I mean? You follow the rules and you come out. If you get attacked for falsely doing something you're not, that's a different thing.
That's right.
But if they say, oh, please take off your hoodie, do this, do that, you're in their store, you want to go about your business as quick as possible. So with that lady, she didn't apply the rules.
Yeah.
And then they forcibly ejected her. And one thing I know about, Ghana and being Ghanaian is you don't play. It's not like here. It's not like you don't play. It's not like here. I'm sure it is in the West. I mean, I've been to the West Indies as well. It's like when there's a certain level of rules and it's in someone's store, you have to. They don't care how big you are or if you're from this country, that country. You do not play, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes growing up in the Western world, when we go to these countries, it's a culture shock because we're allowed to kind of speak back to people and stuff. No. The police there, for example, you speak back to them and they'll punch you in the face.
That's the same. That's the same in Jamaica.
They'll punch you in the face.
Same thing.
Just punch you.
So we need to start to understand the way things go in that respect.
I like the way you've put that as the example of the fact that when you go into someone's premises, it is their rules. If we look at it in the same way as our household, if someone came to visit me and I left their shoes at the door, that was the rule. Take their shoes off, and then they refuse to take their shoes off. No. What happened to them? they won't come. They won't come through the door. They return back on the get out my house. You're not respecting my rules. Get out. And it applies everywhere you go. You go into their premises. You follow their rules. You don't like it, don't go in there.
You don't go. It's simple.
Simple. That's it. Over and out.
It's as simple as that.
It is that simple. Sorry, I didn't feel that bad. I didn't feel that bad watching it. So
this is why I put those two things together, as crass as it is, because I'm like, okay, so there's the people just doing their job, and there's something bigger than them telling them they need to do X, and they're going, right, that's what it is. Yeah. So it's kind of like, imagine China is the house. Yeah. Yeah. And they've determined this is the issue. And they're saying, no matter what, you're not allowed to let guests in if X, Y, and Z parameter or X. And I've got video footage of, I think it was Beijing, where someone had done something like a very small minor infraction. And they were getting dragged down the street, lumbered onto one of these, those unusual mopeds where it's like it's a dome shape where you go into it as
they're round,
and it was like a double seated one, and the guy just sat him in there and was like, we're gone, you're gone, you did that. It's this big. So when you look at it like that, it's like it'd be very easy for us to go, oh, the Chinese just don't like black people. No, that's it, I ain't eating Chinese food, I ain't getting stuff made in China, and then that's where it all messes up. At that
when you say that, it's a bit like
my laptop, my mouse.
Yeah, what is crazy about that is when vegan people cuss other people, and I'm like, and I'm not saying, look, I have a lot of vegan friends, but the ones that are kind of, they use it as a spirituality and say, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. Yeah. And then I ask them, do you wear leather?
Oh, that. They don't understand.
Or do they wear cotton? And, there's certain things. And then there's because I've studied veganism, and there's a vegan, what's the word? There's a historic vegan where they don't, the guy, he actually, there's one guy, I think he does it as a religion. And he actually doesn't go on the bus because the bus has leather seats. So he walks everywhere.
Wow.
His whole life is based around the kind of after effects. So he works for animal hospital, I forgot, something like that. And he said,
like a sanctuary.
Yeah, something like that. It was a research place. And he said, oh, you guys are researching. They're using part of their research or something to harm animals, and so he had to leave, and then he basically wanted to say that veganism is a religion. And I think sometimes, especially now, everyone's doing this whole vegan plant-based stuff, but I think you have to be very careful not to get into that mindset of I'm vegan and everyone else is bad, or I'm this and everyone else is bad. Because with this whole the whole China thing, you can't say I'm not getting anything from China. Like,
That's actually quite impossible.
That's virtue.
Like,
You get what I mean? Like, you know, it'll be a component or something that's part of
right.
You know, it's a bit like after the Holocaust, a lot of the Jews said they're not going to have any. You know, that's why a lot of Jewish people don't have German cars.
Okay.
You know, then it got to the stage where Germany makes so many components of things.
That's right.
You can't get away from it. So you just have to kind of handle it in your own way. Mm-hmm. And try not to make blanket statements. It's a bit like, I know it sounds bad, but when Gucci done that thing and all the rappers were like, oh, F Gucci and blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it became, first it was F Gucci, then it was like, no, I only F Gucci for like 4 months.
Exactly.
And then Dapper Dan came in and he was like, yo, and then they done all these things and they waved their wand and now everyone's back to wearing Gucci and Moncler and all these different things. So,
it's always the way. It's always the way.
Because we need to, because the problem is we hold a lot of these brands higher than we hold ourselves.